to talk about paying for electrical energy. Energy costs money. You're probably spending a lot more money on electricity right now because you're all at home than you normally are. There's probably a lot more lights on, TV on, all that kind of stuff than normal. So your energy bill is probably going up a little bit. So thank your parents for paying for all that for you. Power companies pass their costs on to customers according to how much energy is supplied to each user. So remember when we talked about that meter that tracks how much electrical energy is going into your house, this is how they charge you. So power companies measure the amount of energy we use using this unit. So that unit is the kilowatt, so lowercase k, capital W, and then lowercase h, okay? So this is referred to as the kilowatt hour. So kilowatt hour. So this is the kilowatt, right? So watt we know is the capital W, and then just like in kilometers or kilograms or any sort of prefix that we see that K, that always means kilo, and it means 1,000 watts, okay? Which you can write for yourself, so that's 1,000 watts. And then we know H stands for hour, okay? So 1 kilowatt hour is the total energy supplied to a 1,000 watts, so 1 kilowatt load during 1 hour of operation. So if you had a 1,000 watt hair dryer or microwave or some sort of appliance, that's its power rating. So that's the load that we're talking about. If that thing was on for 1 hour, it would charge you 1 kilowatt hour of electricity from the electric company. Okay. As a note, if it gives you watts and you need to convert to kilowatts, because watts, there's 1,000 watts in a kilowatt. To go from watts to kilowatts, you need to divide by 1,000. So if you have 1,000 watts, you divide that by 1,000, that's how we got 1 kilowatt there, okay? So example, a hairdryer might be rated for 1,000 watts or 1 kilowatt. And if it ran for 1 hour, it would have transformed 1 kilowatt hour of electric energy into heat energy, and probably a little bit of sound as well. But primarily that's what a hairdryer is doing is heat, okay? So that would be charged as 1 kilowatt hour from the electric company. Obviously, you're probably not gonna run a hairdryer for 1 hour at a time, but like, let's say you run it for 5 minutes a day, over time that adds up to 1 full kilowatt hour. So power companies then charge us for each kilowatt hour of energy that we use in our home. The going rate in Calgary right now is 8 cents per kilowatt hour. So to determine the cost of our bill, they multiply the going rate by how many kilowatt hours of energy that we use, okay? So as an example, we're gonna use a crock pot. So that crock pot might be rated at 1,500 watts. And so if a family cooks recipes that take 8 hours with their crock pot every day for a week, how many kilowatt hours are consumed by their crock pot? Okay, so what we know is we know that the power is 1,500 watts. And to figure out kilowatt hours, we need to convert that into kilowatts. So we need to divide by 1,000, and we're gonna get 1.5 kilowatts. Then time, so to find kilowatt hours, we want to use hours instead of seconds. So that's the one exception to if we're plugging time into an equation, we want seconds. This is the one exception when we're looking for kilowatt hours. Hours is in the name, so we're going to use hours. So time is 8 hours. But it's doing it every day for a week. So 8 hours per day times 7 days in a week. 8 times 7 is 56 hours. So when we're trying to find the number of kilowatt hours, we're going to take the number of kilowatts and multiply it by kilowatt, or by hours. So to find kilowatt hours, we go kilowatts times hours. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to do 1.5 kilowatts and then times 56 hours. So we get 84. So notice how our units, we have the kilowatts and we have the hours. And so this family has used 84 kilowatt hours cooking with their crock pot in a week. If electricity costs 9 cents per kilowatt hour, so remember going rate is generally 8 cents, but we can manipulate that for different questions if we want. So how much is the family paying to operate their crock pot? So their cost is going to be equal to the rate per hour times the number of, the rate per kilowatt hour times the number of kilowatt hours that they've used. So there's no real formula for this one. It's just we have to logic it through, and we can write that out if it helps us. So the rate per kilowatt hour is $0.09, so 9 cents per kilowatt hour, and then they used 84 kilowatt hours. So 0.09 times 84 is going to give us $7.56. So that's not a ton, right? That's a reasonable amount, but that's per week, and if they do that every day in a whole month, then that's lots. So about 4 times that, and then that's only one appliance, right? So if you're using a stove and a dishwasher and all those other things, all of that is going to cost money as well. Okay, so there's the cost of that family's crock pot. So there's part 2, cost of electrical energy, and then the last video will be on efficiency.